a stone. Holyfield coming in at 14-11 against the Brazilian, who's a couple of inches taller as well. It's definitely Holyfield's biggest opponent, this one. And if there are question marks about him as he defends this title, Holyfield, one big question is whether he's got the power to take out the very big men. Mind you, excellent win in his last fight, Holyfield, stopping Mike Dokes in 10 back in March, and that really proved that he's a legitimate contender at heavyweight. Of course, his speed will help him. There's talk of Rodrigues fighting Mike Tyson in Rio, but the state of the Brazilian economy ruled that one out. Rodrigues, though, has taken care of a couple of British heavies, Dave Garside in 3 rounds and Hugh Roy Curry in 8, and he's also got a very debatable victory over Bone Crusher Smith, some controversy over the scoring, but this a big chance for the Brazilian as well, and certainly starting off full of confidence, not overawed at all by Holyfield. And a good start by the challenger in Brew, as Holyfield just measured him with a right. Again, Rodrigues coming forward. A couple of big punches. He's got Angelo Dundee looking after him, and if he looks a little bit podgy to you, that's all part of the plan here. Dundee quite happy to let his man come in his natural weight, but he says he's so strong you could hit him with a baseball bat and he won't be hurt, and if he gets through to Holyfield, it could be a problem for him. Holyfield picking him off with that snappy jab. And a good competitive opening round. And Caesars Lake Tahoe, and Holyfield just coming on strong in the last few seconds. But so far, the Brazilian challenger has given a good account of himself. Steve's dropped the instructions from Lou Duva. Corner definitely keen on Holyfield working harder with the jab. Second round then. Holyfield 17 of his 21 victories inside the distance. Goodness me, the Brazilians, you can see them in the background there, warming to their man's challenge. It's a brave one, certainly. He's giving his all, is Rodrigues. But he's so well tucked up, Holyfield, got a good defence. But yet ready to get through to the Brazilian. Giving away a fair bit of weight, don't forget, is Holyfield. He's very aware of the power of his opponent. Head to head, the elbow's going in too. Good stuff inside from Holyfield. And that's a great shot from Holyfield, and he's hurt the Brazilian there inside, and he's got him down with a right too, and he's not going to get up from that. Marvellous piece of work from Evander Holyfield. Rodrigues will be counted out here. He softened him up inside and absolutely poleaxed him with a right, and look at the delight from Lou Duva. Started slowly, got the measure of his man, took everything he had to offer as confidence flowed in the Brazilian, and then just took him out. And a classic finish too from Holyfield. He didn't need a baseball bat. His fists were strong enough. And Rodrigues still receiving attention. That was a brilliant flurry, and if you watch, he hurt him inside first of all, but it was that big right hand that effectively ended it. And anyone who says that Holyfield hasn't got the power to live with the heavyweights, well, just take a look at this. Right on the top of the head. And the Brazilian was never going to come back from that.
Well, yet another impressive performance by Evander Holyfield. But, Jim, are we looking at someone who's really just a beefed-up cruiserweight?
Well, history has proved very few men can come up from the division below to defeat a good heavyweight champion. Tyson is an exceptionally good heavyweight champion. Holyfield, a real class act himself, but he's picked a terrible time to challenge for the heavyweight title. I don't think he'll be big enough. I think he's good enough to give a show, but I certainly don't think he's big enough.
You think he's not good enough to beat Tyson?
I don't think he's good enough, no. He probably has as much fighting talent as Tyson has, but he can't have the same power. Nobody can have the same power. And the way Tyson is dominating real heavyweights, I really can't see Holyfield managing to beat him. He'll put on a show, I'm sure of that, but he won't beat him.
How long do you think we can expect people to pay $500 and $750 to come and see Mike Tyson?
Well, we said the same thing after the Spinks fight. Then Tyson's private life went off the rails, and they suddenly be pumped up Frank Bruno. Maybe something like that will happen again. I think already people are a little bit fed up. Not so many people turned up tonight as turned up against Spinks. So I think people now begin to say we want some value, and I don't know how they're going to get value with a man like Tyson.
Jim, thank you very much indeed. Well, let us leave you then with another devastating performance by Mike Tyson. From all of us here in Atlantic City, goodbye.
8 championship fights, remember, Tyson. 7 have been covered by ITV.
Well, the first change I've noticed in Tyson, he normally comes into the ring soaking in sweat. He hasn't done that tonight. I wonder if that's a change of plan with him.
Oh, what a left hook. Well, he certainly wasn't cold, Jim. In fact, it looks like Carl Williams has been knocked cold in the first round. Is he going to count him out or let him go on? He's done well to get up. No, he stopped it.
Well, it was a beautiful punch, bang on the chin. Now you can see the way he goes down, first of all, loses all control. Then you can see the actual time he took to get back up onto his feet again.
Yeah, there it is. He's got the left hand that he was talking about, but the way he slips inside is he's such a good defensive fighter, Tyson. People forget that. They just think he's a ring animal. He's got a lot of ability to go with that.
So
Once more.
That punch too, couldn't have landed in a better spot, and you get the full turn of the shoulders, the hips, bang onto the chin. That was a beautiful punch, and the way he went down, you could see there was no way he could throw the effects of that. I mean, people like Larry Holmes could recover from a punch like that, but unfortunately not Williams.
Well, normally in the first round they have a chance of getting over it. Certainly Michael Spinks didn't. But as I said, this fellow's recuperative powers have been good in the past, but he was nailed there. And I've got to be on Randy Newman's side there. It's better to always have that compassion. There's enough knockers of the fight trade anyway without letting this fellow take some more stick.
I want to fight and destruct the world.